go first to the bond, and then we will tour production. So we're going to go in through the old gates and to the bond. The only place you can take a photograph at the bond is standing at the door. We cannot use cameras inside of any kind at all. There is so much alcohol, we want to keep the alcohol. So it is all special electrical cables in there. So to give shelter and security when you are working with spirit, everything is enclosed inside here. In the winter, the wind is very strong, the rain is very heavy, but in here it is sheltered. We do not malt the barley here. We talked about the malting of the barley. We do not do that here now. Long ago, they took away our maltings. Most of it is done in big commercial plants. So we have big lorries with 27 tons of ready malted barley, reverse in here, and it goes through here. Every piece of whiskey that is made here, the barley has gone down here and through here. And if it is the leche malt, you can smell the smoke as the lorry empties. It just flows down. So when we make spirit, we have to pay the government. A long time ago, it was quite okay for me to make whiskey, you to make whiskey, you to make whiskey. It was legal, no government to pay. But eventually the government went, they are making money, we want a share of this. And they began to tax whiskey. And now we make our spirit, and eventually we pay the tax, but we do not do that until we take it out for you to drink. So have you heard of illicit distilling? And the gaugers and the taxmen. So the taxmen would try to catch the people making their whiskey in the glens and places, and they would look for signs that whiskey was being made, and then they would try and capture the whiskey. So here is the duty-free warehouse, the bonded warehouse. What is in here is in bond to the government. This is when we pay the tax. Apart from the casks that we let people drink from, where we have paid the tax. You see here, it was part of the original wall of the distillery, 225 years old, black basil. And you can see where they have filled in the windows and cut in the doors. It is always changing as the distillery changes. Right down at the base there, you can see the top of an old door because this ground was much lower. In 1798, they built the distillery. In 1788, they started to build the town of Tobermory. Before that, there was not a town down here. Maybe a few boats pulled up at the end of the bay, but no town.
And the name of the town is Tobermory because of that, right?
Well, it's more complicated than that. So there were two little farming villages, one up at Balliscate and one up at the old well. They farmed up on the high ground. The well up here was Mary's Well, and in the Gaelic language that's Tobermory. So Tobermory is the name Mary's Well in Gaelic. And when you come to this end of the town, there is the steep bank that you see here, the hill, the cliff, and in Gaelic that is Leche. So this is the Leche end of the bay, the Leche car park, and this has been called the Leche Distillery sometime, and the Tobermory Distillery sometime. And now we have two whiskies, different types, peated and the unpeated, and we use Tobermory for the unpeated whiskies and Leche for the peated whiskies. So in the late 1800s, there were lots of herring fish out in the seas here, and a man was sent to look for good places to build harbours. And Tobermory was one of those harbours. There were only 4 built, luckily, we were one of them. So John Sinclair, you remember the name from the whiskey, the Sinclair series. John Sinclair was a kelp merchant, and that is seaweed. And he used to sail in this area. And he thought, if there is going to be a port, a harbour, there will be seamen, they will need whiskey. And the distillery you see here was built by him. To start with, they made 1,300 litres a year. Now we bake about 1 million litres a year, that is all. Some of the big distilleries in Speyside, 20,000 or more.